níbẹ̀ yẹn ò nílé lóko. Ẹ sì kú dédé àsìkò yìí. Hello everyone, it's Aderunke again. I hope your day is going well. Today, I'd like to talk about the Yoruba proverb, Orí bíbẹ kọ́ ni oògùn orí fifo. Orí bíbẹ kọ́ ni oògùn orí fifo. If you've heard it, and even if you haven't, you might be interested in knowing what it means. And that's what I intend to do in this video. Analyze what it means word for word and what the lesson is that one can get from the proverb. Orí bíbẹ kọ́ ni oògùn orí fifo typically comes up in relation to problem resolution and approach. The approach that one takes to resolving a problem, And these are the words. Orí bíbẹ kọ́ ni oògùn orí fifo. Orí bíbẹ kọ́ ni oògùn orí fifo. Orí bíbẹ kọ́ ni oògùn orí fifo. What does that mean? Word for word. When you say orí bíbẹ kọ́ ni oògùn orí fifo, what does it mean? Orí is the head, like a lot of us know by now. Orí is head, and then bibe is cutting. Bibe is cutting. Be is to cut. Be is to cut. Bibe is the act of cutting, or simply cutting in the noun sense. Ko is not. Ko is not, is a negating word, and then ni is is. Ni is is. Oògùn is antidote for or solution to. Oògùn can be medicine. The very root of the word is antidote, the very root translation. But oògùn is also medicine, is also drugs, as long as they are providing a sort of solution to something, or they are serving as an antidote for something. Oògùn is antidote or solution. Antidote for or solution to. And then Orí is head again. Fifo is aching, in quote, in this context. But that's not really what it is in and of itself. It's a very descriptive language. So this is why Orí fifo is used to describe aching, like aching in quotations. Aching. Fifo. Orí fifo, head aching. But it's not, fifo is not really that in and of itself. So, fo is to break. The word fo is to break. And then fifo is the act of breaking. Then Orí is head. Orí fifo. Fifo is the act of breaking. Fo is to break. So when you combine Orí and fifo like that, right after, one after the other, well, in this order, fifo Orí would mean breaking the head, literally. But Orí fifo is how we describe headache. Orí fifo is really equal to head breaking, which is metaphorically equal to headache. The language is really descriptive, and we call headache Orí fifo because headaches feel like attempts to break the head into pieces. So that is why we describe headache as Orí fifo. If you want to say that your head ache, you say Orí fo mi. My head is our language is sort of flowery in and of itself. Orí fo mi is my head is breaking me, or my head is breaking and I'm feeling it. somewhat like that. It's a flowery language. Not flowery, it's a rather descriptive. It can be flowery, it can be practical, and at the same time it can be out of this world. Fifo, head breaking, headache. I don't want to get distracted. Let me just proceed. So again, bibe kọ́ ni oògùn orí fífọ́. Head cutting is not the antidote for or solution to head aching or headache, if you will. Head aching. Anyway, what that means in essence is decapitation, which is head severing. Orif bibe is not the antidote for or solution to headache. Decapitation is not the antidote for or solution to headache. So what do you feel that means as a proverb? It means that there are always simpler, easier solutions to a problem, and they should always be considered before other intense, irreversible alternatives. There are always simpler, easier solutions to a problem, and they should always be considered before other intense, irreversible alternatives. They're always simpler. So what that means is that there are good solutions and there are bad ones. There are good solutions and there are pathetic ones. There are good solutions and there are pathetic ones. If your head aches, our ancestors were able to discover that if your head aches, if you cut it off, it would stop aching. Obviously, as a matter of fact, you would not feel, after a while, after the cutting, you would not feel any pain at all. You would no longer even reside in that body, let alone feel any pain that is inflicted upon it, whether internally or externally. But if you still want a kind of life, if you still have things to do with the head, if you don't feel that it has completely served its purpose for you, then cutting it is probably not the solution. There are other alternatives that you can try. And so they came up with this proverb, Bibe kọ́ ni oògùn orí fífọ́. If you cut your head off because you have a headache, it is a solution, but is it a good one? And this can be applied. This is, just using the headache scenario itself is one, but this can go in many significant directions. If something is going awry in some aspect of your life, do you completely disregard just because of one misfortune or one embarrassing moment or one regret? Do you want to completely, and I'm talking to myself as well, as a matter of fact, I see areas of my life where completely, well, for me it's complete just disregard. Just nah. If I'm yet to figure out this aspect of my life, I can set it aside for 20 years and I'm fine. But which probably is a good approach, if depending, probably is not. At least it's not complete severing. It's just temporary disregard. But in relationships, in business, in child raising, in even one in regards to even one's pastimes and any other aspect, really, always think, is there a milder solution to this? Can I do something different here? Do I have to really go all the way? If something isn't working out in a relationship, can we try something? Can I make some form of when it's time to sever ties, please do. But even before then, even before the complete severing of ties, which think, is there anything that I can try? Can anything be done? That is what this means. And sometimes even the acts and art of doing and saying less comes through, saves one from a lot of regrets. Saves one from a lot of regrets. And I suppose a lot of times we feel that we have to do something, which is why I said probably setting it aside in my case is not a bad idea for the time. It's better than just, perhaps setting it aside is a brilliant idea, depending on what it is. The sacred art of doing and saying less can be as effective if you want to approach a problem or approach a mishap. Sometimes when you do and say less, it fizzles out itself. So sometimes if you don't take, while you can, I suppose not doing anything is one approach to a headache, and then you can take drugs, or you can, I don't know, take some of them, or perhaps you can try, herbs and natural remedies, and then if they don't work, you can try something more chemical, pills, and then if those don't work, I suppose you can then go to the main hospital, and if that doesn't work, I suppose head severing will be next. Sometimes if you just sit down by a stream or a river without even doing anything, the headache might go itself. I've had headaches in the past and I didn't take anything and it went on its own. Sometimes all you need to do is just relax and breathe. So sometimes the act of doing less is as effective as doing something. And suru is patience. I suppose it's one of the reasons we hold patience in such a high regard in our spirituality and in our day-to-day. Patience is key. Suru ni baba iwa. Suru is patience, and patience is a virtue. The many things that patience would solve, impulsive response or impulsive severing, will not solve those problems. Suru. Sometimes even words can be as words can be just as awful as head severing, head cutting, decapitation. Sometimes words can be just as bad. Awful words can be tantamount to head severing. So I gave this scenario, I provided just one, but I know that we can come up with, we know what applies to us and we know how we can be better. So if your child calls you, for instance, and I'm really particular about children because it's really hard to shake things off. Sometimes we think that when we grow up and we stop being children, we become completely different people, which is not true. Our bodies may change, but it's still the exact same soul that is in there, just a bit more experienced and knowledgeable, if indeed knowledgeable. So if a child calls you, for instance, and you're busy, you can either say that they are dumb and they are bothering you, or you could say that you are busy at the moment kindly and that you'll be with them shortly. So one is tantamount to head severing. One is equivalent to taking a natural remedy or not even doing anything at all in terms of gravity and approach. Are you going to say this to them? And it's interesting because you see even a lot of prominent people refer to their childhoods, and they might be successful, they might be rich, they might be everything, but it's just harder to shake off despite everything that they have and they are. So be mindful of how you speak to people, but especially children. You can talk to them kindly and say that you'll be with them once you're done. And you can call them dumb. You can do this and you can do that. You can find the brighter aspect to things and you can go rogue. It's completely dependent on you. But this approach, the kinder approach, the more patient approach, if you don't know what to say at the moment without saying something harsh, don't say anything. Don't say anything. I've not seen that many people. I've not even seen anybody at all who has come out to say that they had an awful childhood just because whenever they did something nasty, their parents did not say anything at all. Immediately. They did after a while, but at the very moment, if they weren't too sure that the words that would come out of their mouth were kind, they didn't say anything. I've not seen anybody come out to say, oh, that completely ruined their lives. As a matter of fact, it would help them be better human beings in the future. Bibe, oogun, fifo. Head severing is not the solution to headaches. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I'll be more than happy to respond to your questions. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you in the next one. ìyàwó sì yá ní ọmọ sí bàbá rẹ̀ lánàá oko èmi àkọ́ wọ́n sì yá bàbá arúgbó ọ̀bárò lójú aráyè gbọ́dọ̀ bàbá bò nílé wa àgbo sàmọ́mọ́ jánu mọ́ ọ lọ́wọ́ torí bọ́ ọ̀bá gbé wa fẹ́ẹ́gún eégún èégún kò lè mú wa bọ́ ọ̀bá gbé wa àfọ́rò lè máa wá wò bọ́ ọ̀bá gbé wa àfọ́kọ̀kọ̀ sí kó àkílábí àti ìtẹ́bí kinní kò ní mú wa àgbo sàmọ́mọ́ jánu mọ́ ọ lọ́wọ́ ọwọ́ rí dámọ́ lọ́jọ́ dábì lápò èsòkéso olúwa mi ọ̀jàjà wara orí òkú òníná tọmọlọmọ mi máa pò fóló ọkọ ìyàwó àgbèké mi tójú tẹnu olúwa mi ọ̀lọ́lọ́ fẹ́ẹ́ lọ́fẹ́ẹ́ lọ́lẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ gbogbo dé ìgbésà lódò òkú.